Good morning, Hope City. I'm coming to you from the Coleman living room, and this is my cousin Lars. He came all the way from Sweden to join us today. And so I was gifted this wonderful book for my birthday from my parents, and it happens to be Beholding and Becoming, which Hannah read to you from a couple days ago. And it's just chock full of incredible nuggets of truth and wisdom. And so I wanted to read to you out of Beholding God's View of You, through my journey learning about identity that Scott and I have been on for about 5 to 6 years. This resonates with I think both of us. So, everyone tells you to just be yourself. Unfortunately, yourself is not always an easy thing to discern, at least not for me. The author is 43 now. I'm 53. And sometimes I'm just not sure I really exactly know who I am. We look to career, age group, interests, location, ethnicity, political alliance, achievements, enneagrams, titles, or roles to define who we are. I'm a mom, personally, of 2, 3 bonus kids. I'm Chinese. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. I'm a sushi lover. To read bios and profiles online these days is to discover how many people define themselves by how they take their coffee, their job titles, or by their wildest dreams. Are we the sum of our likes, dislikes, awards, and associations? A.W. Tozer gives us a different perspective. What comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. The history of mankind will probably show that no people has ever risen above its religion. And man's spiritual history will positively demonstrate that no religion has ever been greater than its idea of God. Worship is pure or base as the worshiper entertains high or low thoughts of God. For this reason, the gravest question before the church is always God himself. And the most pretentious fact about any man is not what he at a given time may say or do, but what he in his deep heart conceives God to be like. We tend by a secret law of the soul to move toward our mental image of God. This is true not only of the individual Christian, but of the company of Christians that composes the church. Always the most revealing thing about the church is her idea of God. Allow me to restate it plainly. It doesn't so much matter what we say about God or what we do for him. It's what we truly think about God in our most inward being that affects everything about us. We are defined by what we believe about God because who we become is directly related to what we picture in our minds when we think of him. If we picture a disappointed employer, we will think ourselves failing employees. If we envision an unjust ruler, we will act like rebellious subjects. If we see God as a genie, we will be wish makers. If we believe he is our Abba Father, we will be his children. Our self-esteem mirrors how we esteem God. So here's the secret to true self-esteem. The higher we esteem, honor, or revere God for who he is, the truer our view of ourselves. When we recognize how great he is, we rightly realize how flawed we are. But when we esteem God in the highest manner, we will regard the flawed souls he redeems highly as well. You see, lifting our hearts in worship to him causes us to value who he's created us to be, in spite of imperfections. If our highly esteemed Father considers us worthy of rescue, who are we to argue and complain? Do you feel like a nobody? Do you struggle to know who you are? It's okay to be a no one to everyone if you are someone to the Holy One. Who he is in you defines who you are in him. Being yourself is not as important as being his. So here is a poem. It's an Irish poem by Eleanor Hull, and I'm sure most of you growing up in the church have heard this as a hymn, sung as a hymn. I will not be singing to you.
Bummer.
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Be thou my battle shield, sword for the fight. Be thou my dignity, thou my delight. Thou my soul's shelter, thou my high tower. Raise thou me heavenward, O power of my power. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart. High King of heaven, my treasure thou art. High King of heaven, my victory won. May I reach heaven's joys, O bright heaven's sun. Heart of my own heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, O ruler of all. So have such a blessed Christmas. New Year, we hope to see some of you at one of our great events, maybe Zoom candlelight and carols. So we love you very much, Hope City.